Hello everybody and welcome back to another reading of The Legend of Zelda, Hyrule Historia. And today we are in the Twilight era with Twilight Princess, Noda. A very rare occurrence because it was one of those one and done Zelda games. There's no sequels to this one. Because a lot of Links you'll find will have more than one adventure, but this Link just had one. But you know. It's quality, not quantity, right? I guess. Alright. Invasion of Shadow and the Twilight Realm. The Ganondorf's Powers of Darkness. Ganondorf was sent to the Twilight Realm. There the Demon King granted the ambitious Zant magical powers and began plotting to unite the Light World and the Twilight Realm into a single realm known as the Dark World. Zant's influence steadily increased. Clouds of darkness covered the Twilight Realm, and the Twilight began transforming into demons. Midna, the Twilight Princess, spoiler alert, attempted to oppose him, but was cursed and fled to the Light World. The King of Twilight, Zant, invades the Light World. The peace that had reigned in the Light World for hundreds of years was broken by Zant's army of shadow beasts. Zant was now, as the King of Twilight, launched an invasion of Hyrule, and Princess Zelda was faced with a decision. Would she allow the king to be destroyed in the fires of war, or would she surrender to allow Hyrule to fall under the domain of the Twilight? The princess chose the latter. Across the land, the light spirits lost their light to the twilight. The Light World was gradually transformed into twilight, and the people, not realizing what had happened, were filled with a shadowy fear. Midna, Princess of the Twilight Realm. A curse placed upon her by Zant causes her to physically transform and lose her magical abilities. In the Light World, she appears as a shadow. The Twilight Realm, also known as the Twilight, humans who enter this domain are transformed into spirits. They do not realize what has happened. The Light Spirits. These spirits who once sealed that. Darn it. Wait, you can do that with the A and the B button too? Hang on. Let me read this first and then I want to experiment. These spirits who once sealed away the Twilight now guard the different regions of Hyrule. Their names are Ordona, Faron, Eldin, and Lanayru. Sound familiar? Oh, look at that. A B automatically scroll. A goes on the next page and B scrolls up. So many new things to discover. There's Zant. By the way, thank you, Twilight Princess, for making an easy to pronounce name for the villain. Same thing with you and Yuga, and same thing with you, Link Between Worlds with Yuga. The Twilight Realm is a beautiful place, enveloped in the calm of a falling dusk. The inhabitants are gentle, pure-hearted creatures who make their homes within the realm's radiance. The Twilight wield the power of magic, though its strength does not reach the levels possessed by those who were sealed away in ancient times. Members of the powerful royal family chose one from among themselves to inherit the position of leader. The people of the Twilight lived in peace for many years, but there were those among them who felt that the denizens of the Light World were oppressing them. Despite Zant's ambitions, he was not chosen to be king, and Princess Midna instead became leader of their people, and that made him mad. There is Midna and Link in beast form. Midna and Link meet. Midna began searching for a way to oppose Zant. Just then a human appeared, who had been transformed into a beast by the Twilight. It was none other than Link, a young man from Ordon Village, in whose veins flowed the blood of the hero of time. He is a direct descendant. According to the legend passed down in the Twilight, the savior of the world would appear in the form of a beast. Midna decided to join Link to defeat Zant and take back the Twilight Realm. Link. Oh wow, we need a side thing for Link. Yeah, that's great. A young goat herd who makes his home in Ordon Village. She possesses the qualities of the hero and remains a beast in the Twilight, without being transformed into a spirit. Interesting. A few shadows and light spirits. Link took on the role of the hero, restoring light on each region of the land, and finally regaining his human form. With the help of Link, Midna began to collect the few shadows. However, she was attacked by Zant, who stole the shadows and left her on the brink of death. Suffering from the grave wounds, Link was also cursed by Zant, and then turned into a beast once more. The hero met with Princess Zelda at Hyrule Castle, who advised him to obtain the Master Sword. The princess then poured all her power into Midna, saving her life. Link acquired the Master Sword from the Sacred Grove, and his curse was lifted by the sword's ability to dispel magic. Yay, good guys. Yeah, good guys being heroes. The Fused Shadow, an ancient magical object that was sealed away by the light spirits. Midna the Twilight Princess wears one piece as a helmet, while the remaining 3 shards are hidden in temples. Ordon Village and its citizens. There's the mayor, Ilia, which I always pronounce Gia, like Lilia or something, because the way the game's font looks, I thought it was 2 L's, but no, it's Ilia, the mayor's daughter. Tallow and Mallow, brothers, Colin and Beth. Creepy children over there. Ordon Village and its citizens. In the lush hamlet of Ordon Village is located to the south of Faron Woods, in the province of Ordona. The inhabitants live in harmony with nature, raising animals such as mountain goats and harvesting crops, including pumpkins. Link sets out to save the village children, followed by the abduction by Zant. Preparing the Mirror of Twilight. Link and Midna at last arrived before the Mirror of Twilight, the entrance to the Twilight Realm. Midna became furious when she learned that Zant had broken the mirror, and that everything that had happened was the result of Ganondorf's banishment to the Twilight Realm. The two set out to collect the shards of the Mirror of Twilight. Their journey saw them travel not across the great span of Hyrule, but also the illusory city in the sky. They succeeded in repairing the mirror, and then traveled to the Twilight Realm to defeat Zant. The Mirror of Twilight. The mirror placed in the Arbiter's grounds. It is the only means of connecting the Twilight Realm and the Light World. Only the ruler of the Twilight can cause it to vanish. The City in the Sky. A city in the heavens where ancient civilians, the Uka, flourishes. The city once maintained friendly relations with the royal family of Hyrule. Even today, the folklorist Impaz has inherited the role of the guide, lending her wisdom to missionaries bound for the heavens. Its relation to the Sky Era city of Skyloft is unknown. Yes, a lot of people think these are the remnants of Skyloft. On top of that, Uka is known to be named after its code name in the game's whatchamacalls, the fancy tech talk. The usurper King Zant awaits the Palace of Twilight. The light liberated from the Twilight Realm came to rest within Link's sword, driving back Zant's powers to darkness. Even the guardian deity of the Twilight Realm came to recognize him as a hero. Link confronted Zant in the Palace of Twilight. Midna regained the Fused Shadow from Zant and destroyed him with the Twilight's ancient powers. The Twilight Realm. The Twilight had been covered in darkness by the power of Zant and Ganondorf, and the Twilight had been changed into demonic forms. That was another thing a lot of people had complaints about. With what do we call it? With Twilight Princess, that Ganondorf at the last second was like shoehorning the enemy as the enemy, and it kind of like pushed away Zelda. Like this isn't really her legend anymore. She just surrendered, and yeah, she helped out Midna and whatnot. But like they had very little to do with the story, but they shoehorned them in just to, I guess, for the fans. I don't know. I mean, it's not a horrible thing to do, but I don't know. It didn't sit well with a lot of people, I noticed. And here's one of the occurrences where a Hylian text can be translated into English. The map and the writing system of the Twilight Era. Hyrule Castle, located in the Lanayru province, sits in the heart of the world. The province known as Lanayru, Faron, Eldin, and Ordona bear the same names as they did in the era of the goddess Hylia. They are protected by the light spirits who share their names. As the figures depict, the writing system corresponds to the English alphabet, making it possible to decipher. So yes, if you want to translate Twilight Princess talk, you can. Just use this book. Hyrule Castle is shrouded in twilight. Xanth's defeat did not mark the end of Link's struggles. The King of Darkness yet remained. He who had used Xanth to extend the domain of the Twilight and gain control of Hyrule, Link, with the help of the Resistance, advanced on Hyrule Castle, which was enshrouded in twilight. Here's the Resistance. They're cool people. The Resistance, an organization that uses Telma's Bar and Hyrule Castletown as a base for its maneuvers. The members are currently investigating an unusual phenomena that has been occurring all across the world. Telma is impressed by Link's skills and invites him to join the group. Yep, this is Telma. She's a nice lady. She's supposed to be the. I think she's supposed to be the. What do you call it? The derp. The Impa of this game, but they never really say for sure, because I don't think Impa was ever mentioned in this game. And on top of that, something I have to give, like again, I think Twilight Princess it's a fine game. I like the game. I don't want. I know I say some negative comments about it a lot so far, but it is a good game. One big compliment I can give it is I like how they went on with the story. It was more than just get the 3 spiritual stones, save the sages, and whatnot. They really did their best to make it still Zelda, but there was always something new to do. Like you had your temples, yes, and you still had to collect the items in the temples, yes. That's why it's still Zelda. But at the same time, it's cool to see that they've. First, you're getting the light, the light back to the Twilight parts. You know, first they're bringing the light back to Hyrule. Then they're getting the few shadows. Then they lose the few shadows, so they make it their mission to try to go to the Twilight Zone, the Twilight Realm, and they notice that the mirror is broken. So now they're trying to get the mirror fixed, and then they do, and then they find out all this stuff, and then they have to find the enemies, defeat them. You know. Basics. It's a good spin on things, and Skyward Sword was did the same thing too. So it is something. There I'm seeing that the team the Zelda team has been doing lately, and I really like that. I mean, I still like the Link to the Past formula, of course. Who doesn't? That's why I loved. That's why I had such a great time with Link Between Worlds. It was it was very worthy of a direct sequel to Link to the Past. Because of that, you know, it had, you get the 3 spiritual stones, you save your sages, you beat the final boss, and, you know, a lot of people have a problem with that, but, you know, a formula is a formula, and you can tinker around with it, like here in Twilight Princess, or you can stick to what works, and make it more about the core gameplay rather than the ideas, like the Link turning into a painting on the wall was made puzzles in these games so new and fresh, and it was very exciting. There's so many times in Link Between the Worlds I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to get around this gap? And I'm like, oh yeah, I can go on the wall and just walk across, and that's what should be new, you know. I mean, other 2D Zelda games were different too. Spirit Tracks had a different idea. You know, they're all different ideas, but it's about the formula. And you know, I get really tired of people saying, "Oh, it means it's a rehash." I'm sorry, it really doesn't, because you clearly never played the games. Like that's like saying every Grand Theft Auto is the same game, and then and you can make an argument that it is, but at the end of the day, I don't even play that many Grand Theft Auto games, so I can't say for sure. I played Vice City and 3. That's pretty much it. And you know, I bet someone will get mad if I say that, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't blame them, because they played the games. They know that these people worked hard. That same team worked hard to improve on what they have done. And they have made something better because of it. And yeah, it has the same core elements, but it's still building on a formula, building on a series that people love and they want to keep experiencing in new ways. And so yeah, that's what we call a sequel. And I don't understand why people think that's such a bad thing. I really don't. It's like, yeah, you have your bad sequels. Let's look at Sonic for a second. Sonic had some bad sequels, but, you know, at the end of the day, they're still working on them, and he has his gems. It was like that Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland video that Nostalgia Critic did. He had a good point. It's like, yeah, there's gonna be crap for these great artists, but along the road, there's gonna be some cool stuff. you know? And yeah, you gotta dig that stuff. Anyway, Ganondorf is fully resurrected. Ganondorf, King of Darkness, who had been resurrected in the Light World, remained seated on the throne of Hyrule Castle. He launched his attack by taking possession of the Princess Zelda and transforming her into a demonic beast. He later waged a battle with Link on horseback. Once Princess Zelda's spirit, which remained inside Midna, had returned to her body, she defended Link using the light arrows. And here is my fan acting like a maniac. By the way, while my computer tries to calm down, another tangent, I'm hoping this looks better on YouTube, this video, because I've been I was saying in Earthbound, but unfortunately I couldn't do it. I was saying in Earthbound, I want to do an experiment here. Even though I'm recording these games using an S-video signal output, I still want to process this when I bring it to my editor in as high as it can go. So I noticed this project goes up to 720p. I also noticed that when I record some other stuff that it goes up to 1080, but Earthbound only went up to to a large 480 I or P, and I think I figured out why. I think my editor has the ability to tell what its original output is capable of. Whatever, like if I use my HD camera, it can detect that this is the quality can go up to this high, and I think that's a really cool feature. So from now on, I'm gonna experiment with this, because the thing is, I was against it because I'm recording this in 480i, and I didn't want it to waste memory, because the difference between a standard definition and a high definition file are ginormous. So I didn't want to waste memory if it's gonna look the same. But I figured, you know what, I've seen other people do it, so maybe it'll work for me. I'm gonna try to put this in a higher resolution. So I hope it makes a difference. I'm gonna find out when I upload it. What else can I say? Traces of the era of the Hero of Time. The Goron tribe and the Zora tribe continue to be prosperous during this era. The Kokiri tribe do not make an appearance. All that remains of them is their tribe's symbol and the Forest Temple. The Temple of Time, home to the Master Sword's pedestal, has rotted away, and all that lies in ruins within the forest. Just like in Links of the Past. And yes, I liked how the Forest Temple was where the Kokiri tribe was. I'm really curious to know what happened to them, you know? But what are you gonna do? Okay, Princess Zelda's resurrection and Ganondorf's suppression. Ganondorf took up the blade that had been used by the sages in his own execution and commenced the final battle. However, Link was successful in defeating him. Ganondorf, the King of Darkness, had lost, and the crest of the Triforce of Power faded from the back of his hand. The curtain fell on the destiny of the demonic thief Ganondorf, seeker of the Triforce, at least for a time. However, the invasion by the Twilight had produced much hostility, and the existence of the counterpart world to Hyrule had been exposed. The events of this time had left behind a lingering scar. Effects would be felt in future eras. That was so easy. The Triforce of Power. The power that dwells within Ganondorf, when he loses the battle, the crest disappears, because it goes to a new chosen one. Because it turns out Ganon didn't really use power very well. Ganondorf, anyway. What's I gonna say? Oh yeah, that fight with Ganondorf and the Twilight Princess was so easy. I was shocked. Like, I was playing at a friend's house, actually, and I was up to the Water Temple at the time. He said, yeah, you want to try the final boss, see how you do? And I said, yeah, sure. And I was, I wasn't even that far in the game myself, and then when I played the final boss, it was so easy. I couldn't believe it. I don't know. I was surprised. Not that bosses in Zelda are known to be extremely difficult. I mean, some of them are cheap and annoying, but they're not known to be extremely, like, mind-blowingly difficult. But what are you gonna do? Princess Midna restored to her true form and the Twilight Realm. Once the curse has been lifted, Midna regained her true form, that of the bewitching princess. She then returned to the Twilight Realm, smashing the Mirror of Twilight so that her world would never intersect with the Light World again. Her final request was that the denizens of the Light World not forget that there was another world within the shadows. Link returned the Master Sword to the forest and went on to Ordon Village. The world received the blessings of the gods once more, and the land was covered in light. And that's what Midna looks like. Spoiler alert. Midna's true form. The curse that was wrought by the power of darkness is lifted after the defeat of Ganondorf. Wonderful. Link and the Hero's Shade. Link's clad in green. Alright, here's what I was talking about before. Link, the descendant of the Hero of Time. When Link steps into the twilight, the crest of the Triforce of Courage was on the back of his hand begins to glow, and he is transformed into a beast. When he regains his human form, he finds himself wearing the green garb of the hero. The spirit of Link's ancestor, the Hero of Time, teaches him his secrets. Ever since returning to the Child Era, the swordsman has laminated the fact that he was not remembered as a hero. This is the reason he passes down the proof of courage and the secret techniques of the Link of this era, addressing him as son. Yes, so if you play, this is what I was talking about before. At one point in Majora's Mask, the Child Link returns to Hyrule. Everyone forgets he's the Hero of Time, and he becomes one of the Knights of Hyrule. And here he is. You'll see. If you play the game, you'll recognize him. You find the golden wolves around the world, and he teaches you a new sword technique. And yeah, that is the Hero of Time, teaching you some lessons. All right, what page are we up to? So I can know what to. All right, 119. I really don't want to do 5 pages at a time. Let's go through this chapter 2. We are now ending the Shadow Era. Okay, we exited Twilight Era and now we're in the Shadow Era with Four Swords Adventures, a game I really want to pick up. Especially since now I got a new since I found my Game Boy link cable. The trap lurking in Link's shadow. The cycle of the Gerudo thief Ganondorf. Several hundred years after Ganondorf's defeats, relationship between the Gerudo village and Hyrule had become friendly once more, and peace had been restored to the land. However, one day a new Ganondorf was born to the world. He violated the laws of the town, trespassing the ancient pyramid and taking possession of the trident. He also stole the dark mirror from the Temple of Darkness in the forest in order to turn Hyrule into a place of darkness. So this time, Ganondorf wasn't raised by a couple of witches, he was just evil on his own. The trident, an evil weapon born of darkness that slumbers within the pyramid. It is said that no one who enters the pyramid returns alive. On the stone monument that stands beside the pyramid is written, "Does your soul cry for destruction and conquest? We grant you the power to ruin the world." Oh, that's nice. Plotting to obtain the power of darkness. In order to enshroud Hyrule in darkness, Ganondorf began to usurp people's power. The first goal on which he sets his sights was the resurrection of evil wind sorcerer Vaati, who been sealed away during the Force Era. Ganondorf used the power of the Dark Mirror to bring Shadow Link into the world, throwing Hyrule into chaos. So yeah, a lot of things returned from many, many years ago, from the original timeline. The Dark Mirror. A mirror that reflects the evil heart of its bearer, spawning demons. It was once used to imprison the Dark Tribe who attempted to invade Hyrule, and thus it was hidden inside a temple with no connection to the Dark World. Its relation to the Mirror of Twilight that serves as the path to the Twilight Realm, as well as magic mirrors that exist in other timelines, is unknown. So now we know. So they're hinting that the mirrors, all these mirrors to different worlds, may be related. The resurrection of the evil wind sorcerer Vaati, the reigning princess of Princess Zelda, wary of the dark clouds that covered Hyrule, brought Link and the 6 maidens to the elemental sanctuary to see whether the seal on Vaati was weakening. However, the monument, the door to the elemental sanctuary, was open. The maidens were swept off the different quarters of Hyrule by the power of the darkness. So, even though this is a different timeline, we're getting some very Link to the Past type stuff, and with the return of Vaati from the original timeline, which is really interesting. We finally see another reference to the elemental sanctuary again. I guess Hyrule just made it their mission to forget about it, and they did a good job. I guess there were wars and whatnot in the way. Okay, the evil wind sorcerer Vaati. Using the Force Sword, Vaati was sealed into the elemental sanctuary, a place visible only to children. By Link and the reigning Princess Zelda, following his imprisonment, the sanctuary was watched over by the young Princess Zelda and the maidens. Shadow Link. Demons identical to Link that are born of the Dark Mirror and possess the power of darkness. The resentment of evil thoughts of the defeated Ganondorf travel across time and space, emerging as shadows in the shape of the hero The ones that appear in the Elemental Sanctuary set a trap, aimed at getting Link to break Ganondorf's seal. Ooh, heavy stuff, man. The Resurrection of Vaati. Link, who left behind, drew the Force Sword that rested deep within the Elemental Sanctuary so he could rescue Zelda and the maidens. Doing so split his body into 4 copies, and the legend had foretold. The act of drawing the sword also caused the evil Wind Sorcerer Vaati, who had been sealed away, to be resurrected. Oh, is this the Game Boy Advance one? Yeah, then I did play this one. I always get confused. Okay, so I gotta remember. 4 Swords Adventures, I think, is for the... we'll find out with more screenshots. See if it looks familiar. No, this should be the GameCube version. Yeah. Yeah. 4 Swords should be the Game Boy Advance one, and 4 Swords Adventures. Yeah, I got you. The Light Force. The power that dwells within all the creatures of the world. It was originally stored within the Force Sword, but the power is lost due to Vaati's magic. The Knights of Hyrule, the Blue Knight, the Green Knight, the Red Knight, and the Violet Knight are swordsmen who have protected Hyrule for generations. Gallant and loyal, the pride of Hyrule, these knights would not hesitate to give their lives for their cause, which they did, and Link now possesses the powers of all 4 of them. The Royal Jewels, sacred treasures that open the path to the heavens. For generations, the royal family of Hyrule have entrusted the protection of the Royal Jewels to the Knights of Hyrule, in whom they have hold great faith. The Tower of Winds, the passage to the heavens that is open using the royal jewels possessed by the Knights of Hyrule. It appears once the royal jewels are enshrined in the Elemental Sanctuary, Ganondorf snatches the jewels, and not only does he curse them, but he also ensures that no one will be able to reach the Palace of Winds where Vaati dwells. The journey to gather the Light Force and Ganondorf's plots. The Force Sword in Link's possession did not contain enough power to crush the darkness. The 4 facets of the hero thus set out on a journey to obtain the Light Force while resurrecting Princess Zelda and the maidens. Meanwhile, Ganondorf resurrected Vaati in Hyrule Castle. Once he became aware of Link's travels, he set out on a new course of action. In order to gain even more powers, he used Vaati to turn the Royal Jewels into the gateway to the Dark World. Ganondorf then utilized the power of the Trident to defeat the Knights of Hyrule one by one as they rushed to the rescue, transforming them into demons. He then placed a curse on the Royal Jewels they held. Now the demonic Knights of Hyrule and their Royal Jewels were scattered across the kingdom by Shadow Link and his kin. The Tower of Winds also disappeared from sight. With the Royal Jewels transformed the gateways to the Dark World, demons began appearing in the land of Hyrule once again. Alright, let's see if we can get this one to be the come on. We get this. Come on, screenshot, please. You guys did it last time. Remember last time? Yeah, this is last time. I want this one. I want that. One more time, just be safe. Alright. Hyrule in the Shadow Era. The light force is plentiful in this land. With desert to the west, forest to the east, and towering mountain range, the construction of the tower that leads to the Palace of Winds is most notable characteristic. Yes, interesting. So, yeah, another exaggerated change into Hyrule. Not that different. Just the snowy area seems to be a little new. But of course, that could be why they decided to put this after Twilight Princess. Because really, I think this could have been anywhere. This game, but it makes sense to put the Shadow Era after the Twilight Era and all. I guess that's what they wanted to do. Okay, the final moments of the evil Wind Sorcerer Vaati. The 4 Sword Links rescued the maidens from each corner of the land, liberating the Knights of Hyrule and the Royal Jewels that had fallen into darkness. Upon receiving the 4 Royal Jewels from the Knights, the Links ascended into the Tower of Winds from Elemental Sanctuary using the power of the maidens. The heroes saved Princess Zelda from the top of the tower and continued on the realm of the heavens, where the dark mirror that had been incessantly spawning the Shadow Links lay. The 4 Links then recover the mirror and defeat Vaati in the Palace of Winds. Vaati was once a member of the Minish tribe, but transformed into an evil sorcerer due to his admiration in the hearts of the wicked. After being sealed and resurrected, he is finally defeated. So they didn't seal him this time, they got rid of him. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's get that one too. If this one, the other one doesn't fail, I want this. That's nice. Scroll out a bit, scroll back in. Yeah, I like that. Come on. Give me a nice thumbnail for this video. Ganon. No trace remains of the human known as Ganondorf. He is hard to lament. The power I have obtained from the people of Hyrule is not yet enough, from Ganon's words. We can surmise that he did not have the power he needed to cover the Hyrule in darkness. So Ganon's back. He transforms into Ganon again. The confrontation with Ganon, a renewed peace. The four links and Princess Zelda made for the Service World as the Palace of Winds crumbled beneath them. There, Ganon appeared. The facets of Link cooperated with Princess Zelda to crush him, successfully sealing Ganon with the Force Sword. I am the King of Darkness. I cannot be destroyed by insects like you, he cried as he was sealed away. Light shone all around them, and darkness began to part. Link placed the Force Sword he had used to seal Ganon back into its pedestal in the Elemental Sanctuary, and the facets were once again united. Returning to Hyrule Castle, the heroes received a grand welcome. Princess Zelda looked down on the proceedings from the hall and the chamber of the Triforce within the castle. You know what else I like about having the Four Swords in this area, right next to after Twilight Princess? I like that they said there's peace now. The Twilight Realm is hidden from the world. You just gotta remember them all that. You know, there was peace again, especially between Hyrule and the Gerudo tribe, being that Ganon was kind of being a jerk the past couple hundred years. There was peace, you know. They don't really put a lot of I don't think this book. Unfortunately, this book doesn't put a lot of emphasis on that. But yeah, they mentioned it, so it's good enough, I guess. There is peace now, and at this point, it's like, let's bring back something old. That's what the new Ganondorf wanted to do. He said, you know what? My ancestor failed because he was so and so. So this time, I'm gonna do something new. I'm gonna do some of my research. And then he found out in the Force Era, he did some research on a miniature tribe, the Elemental Sanctuary, said, perfect. Nobody even remembers this stuff. So I'm gonna go over there and bring this stuff back so I can become the evil demon king that I was destined to be, you know? The evil sorcerer Avadi had become caught up in the cycle of Ganondorf the Thief. Will the Light Force never be free of the threat of darkness? There may come a time where the land will receive the need of the Four Swords once again. Which actually, if I may take a moment, I want that so bad in Wii U. I want a Four Swords for Wii U so bad, because I think they could definitely bring back the Four Swords adventure for the GameCube ideas. Because that was the gamepad of its day. That was a brilliant idea. Use the link cable and have the Game Boy Advance be the controller. And then when you go into buildings and whatnot, you look down at your Game Boy screen and there it is. I thought that was so brilliant, and I think they should do that again for Wii U. I think it'd be brilliant. It'll be really cool, you know? Alright, and in the next part, everybody, we're going to start with the adult heroes timeline. Yep. Let's hang on. Hang on a second. Wait a minute. Yeah, it should be the adult heroes timeline. Yeah, right. I'm stupid. I'm gonna make sure. Give me a sec. Cause I'm dumb. Yeah, we're gonna be in the adult eras timeline. So wonderful. Alrighty, sorry about the cutoff exit outro there in the last part. I realized I did that. Whoopsie daisy. So I'll make sure that doesn't happen this time. With that, thank you all so much for watching. I've been Billy, your video game analyzer. Have a good day, good night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you next time.